Do you know how this sidebar works and how it's able to display custom elements and icons completely dynamic to whatever you want? Hi everyone, my name is Melly Curry, and today we're going to be going through a very complex topic called JSON UI. So I've been meaning to create this video for a while now, and I've actually gone through multiple different stages in creating this video. But today, I think I finally designed the perfect structure for this lecture today, and actually going through the exact steps on how to create your own JSON UI, going from the absolute basics to something that you're going to be able to create your own very own UI, like this sidebar right here. You see how I click down and moves? Pretty cool. So I'm going to be walking through JSON UI and how to learn and how to create your very own JSON UI. So it would be very fun to start off in the complex part, but I think we should actually take a more simple approach and actually dive into the basic fundamentals of JSON UI and how it's structured. So in this video, that is what exactly we are going to be doing. Okay, so I have developed a very simplistic JSON UI starting pack. And I've just created a simple manifest.json, learning JSON UI, blah, blah, blah. This will all be in the description so you guys can download. Do not worry about copying at the moment. Make sure you're paying attention on how to actually make everything work. However, you probably want to watch this video again, develop it for yourself, and then you can move forward. So starting off, this is just a simple manifest.json. Every resource pack needs this to work. So boom, manifest.json, nothing cool about it. However, as you can see, we have this little UI folder. So I'm actually going to delete this because this is really not needed. Anyways, so we have a UI folder, and in this UI folder, you're able to define the structure of your UI. So I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit. But anyways, so this UI folder contains all the JSON UI you have in your resource pack. Usually, you're going to have a supplemental textures folder, which is going to hold all your textures that you're using in the UI, which is very important. You can't really do UI without textures. Anyways, that's just how it works. So usually you'll have a textures folder, and then you'll usually have inside that folder another UI folder, which says your UI images, but don't worry about that. However, what we are going to look into today is UI definitions and HUD screen. So I was thinking either should we go into server form or stuff like that today. I decided to stick with HUD screen and UI definitions for this video only. Next video, we're going to look into server forms and go into more complex variable parsing and stuff like that. However, this video, we're going to stick simplistically with UI definitions and HUD screen just for your understanding. All right, so let's hop into UI definitions. So UI definitions is, this is not needed, but UI definitions is a very simple folder that has a JSON object. So if you do not know JSON, it is very important to know. You're probably going to need to watch some video. I'll probably link something in the description where you can learn some JSON. However, JSON is very important. You can't do any of this without JSON. So make sure you learn some JSON. Very simple. It's just a key to value structure. So boom, we have a JSON object with UI definitions inside for the first key. So UI definitions is basically a list of all the UI files that you're going to link to. So let's say we have a folder called smelly. And let's say we have a server form, so let's say a custom, let's say chest GUI.json. So let's say we have a custom chest GUI in here. However, this thing cannot run unless we link it in the UI definitions. So basically, Minecraft will not read it unless you list it here. So it's very important that you list your GUI here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do UI/smelly/chest_GUI.json. And boom, we have linked this UI JSON into our pack. However, we're not really going to look through this much today, but this is very important and it's very simplistic of the initial structures of JSON UI. So you can add another one simply by doing this, UI button, it doesn't matter. Anyways, we're going to move on and we're actually going to check out the initial steps of HUD screen. So if we hop into here, you can see it looks very complicated. I'm just going to close all these tabs out. And I've wanted to make this video for a while, but I feel like now I have the best opportunity because now I know enough about JSON UI that I can actually teach it. And I think it's very important to learn JSON UI because it is a very cool field in Minecraft add-on development. Because without it, your pack just kind of looks it doesn't have that good vibe in it. You know what I mean? So basically, what we're going to be doing is we're going to look at the HUD screen.json folder. And the HUD screen.json folder is a very important folder because it leads to all the JSON structures in your pack. So if I look at here, and if I actually go into game mode S, you can see that hotbar, the hearts, the bubbles, the food icons, the XP, the sidebar, everything you see here is all HUD screen. It's all the initial HUD screen of your GUI. And stuff like /title, add s title, hey, anything I put here, that is HUD screen. Also, stuff like action bar. If I put it in here, boom, action bar gets displayed. And as you notice, my sidebar disappeared because my sidebar uses action bar to display. And that's very important. So most of JSON UI is structured off of already pre-made Minecraft stuff, just utilizing it and basically taking that and creating something else from it. And that is very important in effect of variable parsing, but sometimes you really don't even need to do that. You can just display a custom image. So what the very cool part about JSON UI though is the ability to change the look of stuff very easily. But most people say JSON UI is hard. It is, but I think it's actually very simple when you get into it. So let's hop back into the Visual Studio Code and let's look at our namespace. So the namespace is the fundamental building block of your JSON UI file. Every JSON UI file will have a namespace. Your namespace is basically the ID that defines this file. So namespace HUD is the namespace that defines the HUD screen. And if we check out other files, we can see that if I open it up, we can see in the original Minecraft pack, so this is their HUD screen. So this is the 1.19.40.22 version. This is just the one I have downloaded, doesn't matter. But if we go down to all of these JSON UIs, so these are all the different JSON UIs in the default Minecraft. And you can see we can go through all these. The toast screen, you can see namespace, 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 namespace. All have namespace in here. Oh, that one didn't have it. Some of these actually comment. Actually, no, everything has namespace. What am I talking about? We scrolled down. Anyways, so namespace is the initial definition of your file. So every file must have a namespace defining what this pack actually does. So boom, namespace. So all it is we're going to jump back over to the other file, and all you're going to do is just define your namespace. So I'm going to delete everything in this pack, and we're just going to simply do namespace, and we're just going to call it HUD because we're not going to change anything. So once you have your initial HUD namespace, you're able to define properties on that namespace. So if we go back to the original pack, and what we're going to do is go back to the other pack. And as you can see, if we go down to HUD screen, so H, most of the time you're going to be reading other Minecraft packs because Minecraft really doesn't have much documentation on this stuff, and it's very sad. I wish they did, but they do not. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to look through the HUD screen pack. So as you can see, if we just collapse all of these structures, we can see everything that the HUD screen edits and also everything that we could potentially edit. So if we close all of these, I'm not going to close all of them, there's a lot. But as you can see, we have the HUD player render is basically the paper doll that this gets displayed. You see on my side, paper doll, boom. Then we have the hotbar renderer, which is very important. We have the hotbar at the bottom. Then we have the cooldown renderer, the heart renderer, stuff like that. Stuff like this is very cool because it's just HUD screen. It's very simple and it's very easy to change. Like let's say you wanted to replace the heart image, you could just change the texture here, or you could restructure the path or rechange the size of the structure. And simply, let's do that. Let's hop in and we're just going to replace the HUD screen with this data. And you can see all these comments. JSON really does not like comments, but Minecraft is fine with it. But if we go down to heart image, what we could do is just change the size or change the alpha of the heart image and make like a really weird looking pack. So let's actually see what this looks like in game. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually change the player position. So anyway, so I'm just going to scroll down to the HUD screen, find something cool, and I found something called the player position. So the player position is just that player position that gets displayed on your side of your thing. And you can see, if we scroll down, we can see how this thing renders. So you can see that it is a type image for its background, and the size is 6 pixels of 100% of the screen width. So 6 pixels plus 100% of the screen width on the X, and then 100% of the screen width collapse of the 2 plus 2 pixels. Then we can see the texture is textures UI black, and the alpha is 0.7. So alpha is the amount of it's kind of the ability of pass-through rate of like transparency. That's kind of how I see it. And then we have controls. So controls is another cool part because it allows you to define more objects on top of this object. So basically, this is the parent object, and now you have another child object onto this parent, which inherits the size if you allow it to. And then this parent will display relative on top of the player position. So it allows you to create child elements, and it's very cool because child elements are very, very useful in HUD screen JSON UI. And basically, we can see there's a child element of player position text. So I'm guessing this is going to display the text, and boom, it has a type label, which means that is the label. It's a label type, so it's going to require a text value. You can see down here, and it's going to anchor from the bottom middle. And so basically, it's going to be the bottom right here, and then the middle. So it's going to anchor right here to the bottom middle. So it's going to anchor from to. So it's just going to stay at the bottom middle. And then it's going to layer one. So it's just going to be the first layer. And this one didn't define a layer, which is kind of weird. You would want to make them define like layer one here and then layer one here. But anyways, so enable profanity filter. I don't know why they don't have that, but that's pretty interesting. So yeah, you can have a profanity filter on your player position text. And then you can do chat text color. Will allow you to change the color of that, which is also interesting. And we could also have a input of text. And as you can see, text is a property that gets defined down here by the binding structure. So bindings are interesting. They're also a very complex topic. We can get into it a little bit today, but I don't want to fully make this because it could actually have its own video. But bindings are interesting because you're able to define binding names, binding name overrides, binding conditions, and binding types. Also a lot more other stuff. But in this example, we can see the binding name is player position text. So basically, this is where it's grabbing from the Minecraft hard-coded value. So most of the time, you'll see like if we do title, or I mean, Control H, hashtag title, or oops, HUD title text. There you go. So you can see HUD title text. That is what we're using when we do like /title. So that is the value. It's just values it grabs from the hard-coded version of Minecraft, and Minecraft simply replaces all of these strings when it loads JSON UI in here. So we can see if we go back up there where we were, player position, let's find it, there we go. So you can see it's rendering this from the in-game text that Minecraft is providing it. Then it's redefining this to hashtag text. So it's basically grabbing from here and then copying that value over to a new property called hashtag text. And then we can have a binding condition. There's many binding conditions. You'll search them up. And then you have a binding type also. That means where can this value be grabbed from? So basically what we can see here is player position is getting set to text, which then text is getting loaded into here. And then text is getting displayed on the parent element. As you can see on layer one, anchored at the bottom, wherever this is on the screen. So then if we wanted to change something like in the text, we can do something like hey, or whatever we want here, right? And simply we would save it, we would load up Minecraft again, and I already did it a little bit. You can see it says hey now on the title text. So what's cool about this is we could have it input like custom values, or we could have it read the title text that's currently being displayed and have it parse the like variable index on that kind of text. So let's say we pass in a kind of a text like, let's say we have variable x, and then we do like underscore 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 variable y underscore 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 variable z. And the reason why we're padding the ends with underscores is to have a set defined index. So this is kind of a cool system that most JSON UIs do, allowing us to define variables, because you can't really just pass in a variable to JSON UI. It's kind of weird. I mean, you can if you just use JSON text, but you want to be able to pass in multiple variables using the small text limits that you have. So let's say we wanted to pass in, example for my Pokemon sidebar, you want to be able to pass in the name, the icon, the gender, all this stuff. You want to pass in all this stuff to the JSON UI text so it can then read it on that end and split the string and display the variables that you want. So using this, we could have some type of text variable reading, and I'm going to go over that in another video, but today we're just going to go simple, and we can have simply text displaying to whatever you want. So I can save that, and if we reload the game, and after all those errors go away, you can see on the sidebar, hey, or whatever that's saying. We can have it display anything we want. It's really, really cool because you can display anything on your sidebar. Or let's say you wanted to say like Discord, https://discord.gg/smell of curry, or anything. We could just have it define that Discord on that sidebar, and you could have it toggleable, being like, show coordinates, don't show coordinates. And it's really, really cool because these systems are pretty simple. And actually, you could make a dynamic coordinate system with this. Actually, that's a really cool idea. I never thought about that. But what we could do is like kind of create a dynamic coordinate system. So let's say you want your coordinates to show for people who are not streaming, because let's say they don't want to leak their coordinates. And we could simply kind of make a variable parser here, which grabs the player text string from the HUD text instead of this. So then we could pass in custom parameters into here, and we could have it display the text if it has this value before the string, and if it doesn't have that value, don't display the text. And that kind of allows you to create kind of like enabled and toggleable arguments in your JSON UI, which is so, so cool. I mean, I just thought about that idea. That's like pretty interesting. But anyways, that's kind of the basics of JSON UI I wanted to get through in this video. There is a lot more stuff to get into, like animations, bindings, all this, controls, everything. JSON UI is probably one of the most complex and undocumented structures of Minecraft Bedrock add-on development, and that's why it's so cool. And honestly, if you look through those marketplace teams that kind of do their own add-on stuff, they really have their own packs. I've seen that they are able to create their own JSON UI structures from like a predefined creator. But sadly, we don't have access to that because Minecraft really doesn't want to help us out in this field. But we are getting a new a new UI structure soon. That's planned apparently. But anyways, that is the basics with JSON UI, and I hope you watch this through again, maybe if you didn't understand some of the parts, because the fundamental basics of JSON UI is very important. Learning this very important bindings, which I'll probably go into the next video, because we're already hitting 20 minutes, which is a lot. So bindings, structures, controls, all that stuff which will need to be hit, because it's very important to understand JSON UI. Because if you do not, your add-ons will look like, how can I say, bad. So I want you to understand JSON UI and to implement this into your own strategies, and therefore. So anyways, that is going to be it with the video. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to comment how you thought about this initial video. I'll probably change up the next one maybe a little bit based on your guys' comments, and we'll see what we're going to do in the next video. So thank you guys for watching. make sure to subscribe and join the Discord below if you guys want to submit feedback to me, because comments are good, but I also really appreciate when you text me in the Discord, because I actually read those. And I read comments too, but I read it better in the Discord. But anyways, so all right, let me stop rambling. You guys have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.